want our athletes to dominate on the world stage, regardless of how annoyingly woke and theatrical they want to be about their so-called causes.
Tomi Lahren, the queen of takes aging like milk.
Hey, Tommy, how does it feel to be a racist piece of shit? Oh, yep.
Once they run their mouths like that. Oh, and LeBron and Kevin, shut up and dribble.
The right despises this. More than this. They hate athletes protesting.
The poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
But approve of Donald Trump mocking a disabled man.
We have to love more, hate less. It's our responsibility to make this world a better place.
And gets more ticked over this.
The Crusader. That's the official newspaper of the Ku Klux Klan, and it devoted its entire front page to praising Donald Trump.
Then an endorsement from the Klan.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
white like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
Failing to condemn extremists and white supremacists.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. You once told a contestant on Celebrity Apprentice it would be a pretty picture to see her on her knees.
And treating women, even fellow conservative Megyn Kelly, like this. And yet when Rapinoe and the U.S. women's national team get eliminated...
Describe what you're going through right now after the loss.
I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, just devastated. Feels like a bad dream.
The right celebrates it.
I would root for Al-Qaeda before I would this American women's soccer team. And someone said, well, what about Antifa? And I had thought about it. They are the sports version of Antifa. So I'm like...
Because you see, it's America first for Marjorie Taylor Greene, unless it's those sticking up for human rights and equal pay.
The Confederate flag means something beyond, perhaps completely apart from, racism or its racist history.
Fox News host Will Cain, who tried making the argument that the Confederate flag wasn't about racism.
So why do you carry that flag? Because this is my heritage. My family fought to save their farm under this flag. Who was working that farm? My family was. Who was working the farm? They were poor. Do you know how much a slave cost back then?
Even though the ancestors of the Confederacy say this out loud, which tweet I always pull for Team USA all sports, but this team came to be defined by arrogant celebrity activists who went out of their way to exhibit shame in the U.S. Tomi Lahren, who would say on her radio show the team is made up of crybaby liberal activists who hate America, hate men, and likely hate themselves. Alexi Lawless, a man who supports, hey, slavery was kind of good, presidential candidate Ron DeSantis, giving an endorsement on Twitter, not to mention his support of Donald Trump on the same platform, was added again. Of course, not to leave out the former president's rhetoric on Truth Social, where he wrote in part, woke equals failure. Of course, what many who believe in installing a dictator fail to add is this is the most successful team in women's soccer, winning 4 titles in the first 8 editions of the tourney. They've kept the same message since 2015. So why do they hate this team?
Are you excited about going to the White House?
I'm not going to the White House.
Because they did not bend the knee to Donald Trump, and the cult followed his attacks. He called them unpatriotic.
The strength of unequal pay rests on the notion of unequal value. It is an issue of equity.
They advocated for equal pay. He told them to win first before talking. And then they did. They would celebrate amidst the monsoon of hate they received. Some players took a knee and supported the Black Lives Matter movement.
First it was hands up, don't shoot. Then it was burning down buildings and looting drugstores.
The pro-supremacy crowd is not a fan of these things. They hate, and I mean thoroughly hate, athletes using their platforms like this.
This isn't about equality. This is about ramrodding an aggressive agenda down our throats and using fame and entertainment value to do so.
And label them crisis actors who do not care about the causes. It's because Rapinoe and the U.S. women's soccer team represented a set of ideals that directly contradicted the former president's sensibilities.
Your message is excluding people. You're excluding me. You're excluding people that look like me. You're excluding people of color. You're excluding, Americans that maybe support you.
And they continued speaking out against Donald Trump and racist policies. It's quite clear. They draw a line in the sand with the conservative-funded Supreme Court, a walking conflict of interest in overturning Roe v. Wade. They shout out trans Americans who have the highest unalive rate and give a glimpse of hope and protection, and even go out of their way to be inclusive. Of course, though, it's not just the United States women's national team, is it? When Team USA lost in basketball to France, Newsmax host Grant Stinchfield, who has made very anti-Semitic remarks in the past, said he took great pleasure in it. When Olympian Gwen Berry protested during the anthem, conservatives blasted her as un-American and labeled her an easy target to root against. When Simone Biles, the greatest gymnast ever and arguably the greatest American athlete ever, unfortunately developed the twisties and cited mental health as reasons for her withdrawal from competition, right-wingers like Jason Whitlock and Charlie Kirk called her a quitter, soft, and un-American. She exposed the U.S.'s corrupt ways to protect child predators and is a mental health advocate. This is why they hate her. When the NBA took a knee, right-wingers exploded again, launching the same attacks, scripted attacks, we see over and over again. The correct way to view it is this, via The Guardian, by framing himself, as in Trump, as an eager adversary of the United States women's national team. The former president is consolidating a stance that questions the team's patriotism while framing himself as the savior of traditional American values. It's simple. These conservatives do not believe in sharing America with those who disagree with them, just like he had the answer for COVID, just like he had the answer for sending people to help with the cleanup with 9/11, just the same way that he had the answer for the conflict in the Middle East, the same way he had the answer on how to solve Iran. He doesn't. He just claims that he does, saying he has the biggest brain and a stable genius, when really it is all a grift. It is a crooked grift, hoping that those who continue to support him to this day will trudge along and follow in lockstep with his every word. This is what a con artist does. And if you follow the con, you are a part of it. In conclusion, the America First agenda, although it has roots within the Triple K, Republicans still cling to this, and it's a reason for nationalism. Yet when it comes to those who try to be inclusive, for those who try their best to use their platform for good, for civil rights, for equality, suddenly they're anti-American. The same ones who advocate for canceling democracy are those who believe that we should not root for our fellow Americans that want to make the best out of the situation that we have and help propel those that just need a slight push. On top of this, the hypocrisies of the protect women in sports crowd, quite hypocritical, seeing how they indeed want to protect women's sports. They are the first in line to chastise, bully, threaten, and put down those who are at the forefront of actually protecting women's sports. To that I say Conservatism 101. Hypocrisy is the main root of it all.